Security is the most important responsibility of any government. However, what happens when those charged with the responsibility of ensuring we are secured becomes a threat itself? Many thanks for joining us. The program is Security Focus, and my name is Ifunanya Amafili. A lot of you are aware that for a couple of months, the social media has been going agog with the End SARS campaign. SARS is the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, and people have said so much about ending it. Last week, when the acting vice president was acting president, made a declaration that SARS should be reformed, and a lot of Nigerians were excited about it, thinking that would bring sanity to the system. However, a lot of Nigerians are still of the opinion that this should be scrapped totally. With me in the studio today talking about SARS, amongst other things concerning the Nigerian police, is Mr. Nonso Arakwe. He's the state coordinator of Not Too Young to Run, and also an activist. Many thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, listeners. Let's stay together.
Okay, great. So what do you think? Do you think Nigeria should scrap out SARS, or we should reform it like the vice president has asked the police to do?
I actually go with the federal government's intention of reformation of SARS.
Okay.
Yes. Reason is we can't having the same people or doing different things and expect different results. Mm-hmm. That is the same people in the same system. Every year we expect them to do well. Mm-hmm. Every day we expect them to do well. Mm-hmm. I think I expect something different. And something different is reformation. Reformation in the sense that I'm not expecting
but you're saying you can't expect the same people to do something different. Yes. So how do you reform the same people?
Reformation. Okay. Recently, the Nigerian police recruited over 10,000 staff.
Yes.
Good. So those people are young, and I so much believe in young people. And to the best of my knowledge, they've not gone far to the level of this so-called SARS members now, presently. So those people should be trained, give them the necessary training to manage SARS, and possibly remove the entire
so basically
people that are there.
It's not just reforming SARS, if I'm understanding how you're putting it. It's to scrap out the existing SARS and then get a new SARS with fresh blood.
What we are having now is the name. We are having now the name.
Yes,
it's
not all about the name. Anti-robbery squad.
Yes, you are just talking about the name. You are talking about the name. We are not. The name is there. Mm. The SARS should be there, but the people should not be there.
They should scrap those.
They should scrap the present people that have eaten the corruption, have eaten them so deeply. With time, I will share my experience with them in the past years.
With time, share us. What happened?
Okay, so
let me ask this question before you share, which is very important. Why do you think that SARS? I know when it started a couple of years ago, it was a necessity.
Good.
Their functions were to tackle armed robbery, but now everybody sees you just driving. One, they're unmarked. They wear plain clothes, so you don't even know if it's an armed robber trying to attack you. And you have someone jumping in front of you. Okay, come down. They search your phones. Young men I know are the ones that have experienced this. Of course, a lot of human rights abuses have been done when they're arrested. When people are arrested, most times for fictitious, crimes, things that they didn't really commit, but they claim that you've committed it. Why do you think SARS got so powerful?
It's because of the level of powers accorded to them.
Okay,
it's because they are not checkmates. It's because nobody sent for them. No kind of let's retreat. And nothing like retreats to checkmate SARS. They are just walking. People do what they like anytime, any day. And that's what takes me to about 2008 or 2009.
Okay,
where I have I was to do a project. I have a laptop with me, traveling from school to Onitsha to a business center where this project will be printed. I met them at Opiweka.
Okay.
They were using this van that has opening at the back. They were just standing, packing people and all of that. Then I was on bike. They stopped the bike. Young man, what are you carrying? I'm carrying laptop. Oh, where's the receipt? Oh, sorry, I'm a student.
Are you expected to carry a receipt when you have
my documents inside. So I was like, oh, let me open it. But if you open it, my pictures is what you see as the DP, and the next is the project I want to print, because it's crazy, because the next morning is my presentation.
Yeah.
They held me there. They had to spank me with, as if I
spank is a nice word.
I'm telling you,
spank or beat.
They spanked me. They beating. Now, if I'm using beating, I don't know how it will sound. They spanked me with the wire that the thing had to tear my back.
Because you didn't have a receipt for your laptop.
I'm telling you.
For possessing a laptop.
That
wasn't claimed, was stolen, or there was no report.
At the same time, I was showing them my ID card. I'm a student of so place. Look at it, please. I am not an Anambra and all of that. Even at some point, someone who knew me came. Oh, I know this guy is my brother. He's a brother in the church. He do this, he do that. Still, this man refused. At some point, they had to chew my ID card into the bush.
Now that's
what happened at the end of the day, my father had to come.
Were you arrested? Were you taken to a police station?
No, they left me there. They left me there after the spanking. They left me there until my father came under the sun, and we, do all sort of that, and 9,000 naira was paid, and that's all.
They paid money for you.
I'm telling you. So it's crazy. So what I'm trying to drive home here is, these are the same people who moves around, terrorizing people, forgetting the need we have, the recent security challenges we have in the country, that they need to secure lives and property of Nigerians.
And that's the worrisome thing. I mean, you're expected to secure people's lives and properties, and then you are now the one that's a threat. How do you think Nigerians collectively can fight? Last week on this program, because Security Focus, what we do is we talk about security issues. It's an interactive program, and most times people call. The major complaint most of our callers have is the police. They're on the road extorting money,
If you don't give them, they shoot you.
Yes. We're expecting another guest on the studio. He's going to join us shortly. He actually was an eyewitness to a police extrajudicial killing, and someone died in that incident. So once he comes into the studio, he will also tell us his own experience. But I feel that we as Nigerians need to ensure, or not like take matters into your hand in the bad way, but we need to do something about it. It's shocking to say that you had to pay 9,000 naira for a laptop that rightfully belonged to you, and if you did not, there's so many stories people forward somehow you can't verify, but of course we know they happen. I've had one or two questionnaires with people too, and they've talked about where the first thing they claim is that you're a kidnapper or you're an armed robber.
They can give you any allegation.
They extort a lot of money from you. What do you think in terms of law? How can we as Nigerians protect ourselves legally?
Is there now?
Why didn't you make that attempt? Like when that happened to you, when you had left, first of all, you have a name, you know who had done it to you. Why didn't you follow it up?
No, the point is that, I was still very young and all that.
But you were above 18.
Of course, but what came into my mind was, I have projects to do. Anything outside that, I don't. And one thing is that they don't have name. They don't have name. This man doesn't. They don't. Sometimes they wear mufti. They wear mufti. They were really on mufti. Do you understand? So my mind didn't actually get to the level of. My mind was, how will I do this project and defend and all of that? As a student, I want to. You can imagine what I was passing through. From what we are saying, I think. From this part of the country, we are so much afraid of the law.
And I think that's the problem. Remember, I asked the question, how come SARS got that powerful? And you have said there's no checks and balances, but there is, because each one has they have a superior officer that they report to.
So those superiors, like I used to tell people, I was in Purity FM, I said, Okochukwu are the same people. If the superior officers has a target of, at the end of the day, get me so thing.
And if you don't,
do that, you know what it means. So when you come back, it's as if you didn't work.
Going back to what we were saying, when I asked you, what did you do then? And I think that's one of the problems we as indigents or citizens in the country have. Nobody does anything.
Nobody. I
you
agree
understand?
I agree with
and
you.
then where you have no checks and balances from the populace, then not necessarily the police, but any organization will go haywire. So when most people come out from a bad experience from SARS, it is very rare to find where someone says, okay, I got a lawyer, I'm suing, or I'm prosecuting, I'm taking them for infringing on my human rights.
Let me just comment.
Okay, great.
Like I said earlier, this part of the country, especially in Anambra, it can't happen like that in Enugu.
Why do you say that?
Enugu it seems to be more civilized and patient with issues. Enugu, I think Enugu people seems to be more civil servants that you cannot toy their lives with. Here in Anambra is more of business. If anything happens, someone will always want to, what will I do now to get out of this problem? Even when he knew
that he's not at fault. So he's in a hurry to go make money.
I want to go do this thing. I want to close the matter. Closing the matter is paying off the matter.
So you just pay and come out, whether you're wrong or not.
Whether you are wrong or not. So the attitude of being afraid or being ignorant of the law, like this thing happened in the year past, I don't think it can happen now.
To you or
to me,
but it happens regularly.
To me,
there was a day I was driving here, I think along the express road, and like they're not. You can't identify them.
You cannot.
And two people just jumped in front of a car. Jumped in front of the car that was in front of me. Now, my first reaction was, I thought they were armed robbers.
Okay.
But I found out that no, it was a young boy driving the car, a youth.
Okay.
And then they had said, okay, this is another meet or, market for the day. But there were SARS officials trying to. My first instinct was, why are plain clothed people holding guns? You can't really identify. So I think that's a problem. Now, when we say we want to reform, and you had said, let them use
the recent recruited young
but
people.
They're putting them, it's like putting clean food in a dirty pot. They're still going to be trained by those officers who have had years of experience in corruption and know how to. There was something you said, okay, when your superior officer posts you to a place, he's expecting returns. So how do we ensure that the young ones too that are getting into the force?
Okay, if you look at the vice president's speech to his aide, he was talking about making sure that human rights and experts are part of the orientation. He used the word. He used the word. There's a word he used, but he was trying to bring in human rights activists for them to know act within the law. Within the law. So anything else, if you act outside the law, that means you'll be prosecuted. Reformation can also question their names on the.
I think that's absolutely necessary. And then they should wear those like the bulletproof vest that identify that this
who is this person.
A federal agent or a state agent working. The police officer.
It's as simple as that. So you see, the what I don't want to go queue into is the name, because the way federal government wants it now is federal
SARS,
federal
special anti-robbery squad.
So what is added in the SARS is
the F.
What I'm trying to say is this: the federal SARS and the SARS already existing does not make any meaning. It will not make any meaning until they embark on intelligence, until it is intelligence driven.
Okay. Well, we have another guest with us in the studio. His name is Mr. Ebele Ingini. Welcome and thanks for being with us. We had been discussing before you came in, and I said you were an eyewitness for one of the police shootings, and we would like you to tell us a little bit about it. You're also an activist, I heard. So go ahead.
I'm still traumatized. It's more than 2 weeks now.
Yes.
But I'm still traumatized. I still have trouble sleeping. Most times I have problems concentrating. What I saw wasn't, at best, it could be described as a scene from a horror movie.
Okay.
So on that fateful day, I still remember time date, it was on 7th of this month. I was taking my goods to a customer who had earlier made a demand for the goods.
Okay.
So on getting to the boundary between Nisi and Agolo, that was very close to the NAFDAC laboratories.
Okay.
I met a police checkpoint. The inscription on the two Hilos vans they came with says Metro Police Patrol. So that's how I know.
Okay.
They stopped my vehicle. We stopped. They demanded for papers to the vehicle. My driver provided. They demanded for his license. He also provided. Mm-hmm. The policeman, whose name is Emogene Bernard. I read his name from his name tag also. That's how I know.
Okay.
Too. Instead of giving back the papers, he started walking away from the vehicle.
Okay.
So I stepped down, approached him, and wanted to know what the problem was. Then he kept mute and crossed the road. I followed him still. Then I insisted, calmly, respectfully, even pleading to know what the problem was. Then he said the papers to the vehicle are intact. I told him I know. Then he said the driver's license my driver's license expired. And I asked him how long. For how long? He said since last month. That would be July. Then I told him, I was like, okay, July, today is just 7th, and July, we are just six days away from July.
Okay.
You should know that the new one is still in process. This thing takes, if you started late anyway, if it expires before it takes up to 1 week, 2 weeks. Uh-huh. But they will give you a covering anyway. So I was pleading with him. Then he said, unabashedly, he said I should fuel their vehicle.
Okay.
I told him I have nothing on me.
Was it a commercial vehicle? Sorry, I'm cutting you short.
No.
It was a private vehicle.
It was a vehicle that I supply goods with.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't a commercial vehicle.
Okay.
So I told him that he should understand that for the past 2 weeks it has been running non-stop. So business is low. I had nothing on me, and I give to the police because I want to give. And not because
you're compelled to give.
Yeah, that I'm compelled to give. That I always have every papers to my vehicles and my driver complete. So I give to the police as a sign of encouragement.
Okay.
So immediately I said that maybe that was what put him off, and he started shouting at me to stay away. And he said something that also put me off. He said, if I don't fuel their vehicle, if I don't give them nothing, that he was going to arrest me, arrest my driver, and impound the vehicle. Immediately he said that, I became mad. I asked my driver to turn immediately, and my driver turned and parked. And I told him, officer, I was previously speaking to him in pidgin. Then I got this impression that maybe this man thought I don't know my right, or he thought I am an uninformed mind.
Okay.
Then I have to switch over to good English.
Okay.
Then I told him that I won't give him nothing, and he better arrest me, my driver, and the vehicle and take us to the station. Then I started asking him what business he had demanding for what he demanded from me. That I thought it is the business of the road safety. I said that. He said he's not going to arrest us again, but waste our time. I became angry and I told him that he can't do that. That if he wastes my time for so long, that he's going to buy everything that I have in that vehicle. That time is money, and I'm taking my goods to somebody who already placed order. Then he started making calls, said, I'm quoting him now, said, by the time I'm through with you, you go shit water. Then the killer cop, I choose to call him the killer cop, his name is Agbi Chukwuemeka. I never knew then, but later okay.
To cut a long story short, because we're really running out of time. So what happened?
Nothing.
They just
happened.
The
ill-fated vehicle just came out from a fleet station, and stopping him was like an afterthought. He've already passed the first set of policemen, and one of them asked the two in front to stop the vehicle. The guy had it. He stopped. He slowed down as
okay. It wasn't your driver that was shot.
No, it wasn't my driver.
I was thinking it was your driver.
Eventually,
so that was how come you were at the scene?
Yeah, it was
because
at the
they had
scene.
stopped
Yeah.
you. Okay.
So the driver stopped. So one of the driver said one of the policemen, Lucky we asked him where they were going. He told him they were going to Oka. He demanded for bribe. And
then when he refused, that's when
he did not refuse. And the driver turned, he was asking the three other persons he was with him, that were with him in the vehicle. It was like, that was what that was the only thing he said. I was there, I was looking at, but I didn't get what they were saying. The driver told me, but I saw nothing happened. What I saw was, I saw a policeman cocked his rifle and shot into that vehicle. And immediately he shot into the inside that vehicle. The driver rushed out. He was mad. He was berserk. He didn't even know what he was doing. He was shouting to and fro. Then another dude stepped out of that vehicle, all bloodied. I thought he was the one who was shot. And he started shouting, and I rushed to that vehicle, and I saw a guy who was the guy who was shot on the head. He was gasping for air. He was bleeding profusely. I told the policeman who shot him, this guy is shot. Please, let's take him to the hospital. I'm quoting him again. He said, if you're near me, I go waste your life. And I looked at his colleagues. It was normal. It was normal. It was as if nothing happened.
Did you report the case to the police station?
Yes, I did.
I know the commissioner of police is actually aware of it.
Yes,
and the matter is still
the investigation is still ongoing.
Yes, I know the matter is still ongoing. But you actually saw the policeman shoot someone at point blank.
He shot and he picked his bullet and put inside his pocket. The bullet that I picked up was the bullet shot by another of his colleagues as they were fleeing the scene. Remember, I want this to be on record.
Why did you flee the scene?
I don't know. I want this to be on record. I keep saying it anywhere. I was begging all these policemen to take this guy to the hospital, at least to save his life. They did nothing. They treated me with scorn and then left. And when they were leaving, they shot again. The bullet I picked was from the second shot.
Okay, they shot into the air and they ran away.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't even flee with speed. They fled at their own, at a very slow pace.
In the car or
in two Hillers vans.
They entered the car and then just drove away.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And those are some of the things that we're talking about when we talk about reforming the SARS.
I think we have a big role to play.
When you say we, exactly.
The citizens, we have a big role.
I keep asking that question. What do we do?
Yes, this issue of Oga. Neni ego can help. Neni ego only waste our time. Or even when the driver doesn't want to, you see a passenger. Give him money now. Let's leave this place. Why are you wasting our time?
So that means we're the ones that are encouraging these things.
We are the ones.
So now, because we're encouraging it, they feel it's their right.
It's their right.
And then because we don't give, that's why they can just look at someone and then shoot you.
And nothing will happen.
And nothing happens.
So what I'm trying to say is this: I think it's high time people should sit up. The businessmen. You will take from his experience. He's a businessman. No matter the time, they were trying to, stop him not to continue the business of the day. But he still insisted. So, like unlike people in Onitsha, no, 5,000, and that is why most police want to be sent to Anambra State in order to make money.
Oh, because it's lucrative.
Because it's lucrative state.
I didn't know that. So I'll investigate that.
No, but it's true. Ask questions around.
I'll investigate.
You can't get such money in the northern part.
No, you can.
So what I'm trying to say is this: our people should be very, very careful. If you are stopped, stop. What do you have? Show me your papers. Show your papers. Stop being in a haste. I'll waste your time and do all that. I'll do that. It shouldn't come up. Once we be able to engage this 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 1 month, 2 months. Money is not coming. If money is not coming, these people
but you're a
do their work.
businessman. Do you think a lot of business people would buy this?
Yes, I think the problem is. I want to come in this way.
Okay.
The problem is, number one, a lot of our people don't know their right. That's one. 2, some people know their right but don't know how to assert their right. if I wasn't informed.
But how do you assert your right with someone holding a gun ahead you?
There are a lot of things.
Because that's what happens.
No, there are a lot of things to do. Number one, I encourage anybody, once you are stopped, you don't know how the conversation will end up. We are living in a situation where for every police checkpoint you passed alive, it is worthy of thanking God. But that's the situation. Okay. So I encourage everybody, each time a policeman stopped you, first thing first, look at the name tag of that policeman, is make sure the name sticks. If you can also cram the numbers on his name tag, also do that. Okay. That's one. Okay. Number two, if a policeman stops you, and there are a lot of people there, try to assert your rights. If the location is not advisable to assert your right, you have to do something. Get his name tag, know who that policeman is, give that money, give him the money that he asked for. If you can play with your phone to make sure that your phone can record, do. And make sure you sue that policeman for everything that he is worth. I want to tell you something. Even if you don't end up, getting anything out of it, you've embarrassed the policeman. Yeah. You've embarrassed the police force. Yeah. Do it once, twice, 3 times, and when a lot of people begin to do this, I guarantee you all this rubbish will stop. And again, we should never be afraid to speak out against evil. A lot of family, a lot of friends called me expressing concern, asking me to drop this. Of course, they are concerned. These are valid concerns. But I told them, this guy who was killed, gruesomely, never knew he was going to meet his end that way. Yes, it could happen to me. It could happen to any of us. Yes. And the police, they are unremorseful the way these things are going. But if we start saying enough through our words and our commensurate deeds, this whole thing will stop.
Well, but that's the thing I kept talking about before you even came into the studio. I think we as indigents, as citizens living in the country, in our states, have to take responsibility.
Major role.
The issue of SARS we're talking about, it started from a clamor, hashtag end SARS. The social media, these are tools we didn't have 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So now, like you suggested, people should record these things. I know when the Haruna, that's his name, he was in the before he became the PPRO, he was in the police public complaints office. And one of the things he said were things like what you're saying: get the names, get information. Of course, you can't argue with someone who's holding a gun, and who's probably drunk or high on some substance. But there are other ways we as citizens can fight for our rights. Even if nothing gets done, you can, like he suggested, embarrass the police. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I want to thank both of you, Mr. Nonso Orakwe, and of course, Ebele Ageni. Ngene, thank you so much for being a part of this program. I mean, you made it very interesting. The program is Security Focus. Ensure that you stay alive and healthy and safe. Goodbye.